What's going on, everybody? Anon here, and I want to get back to the ordinary normal course videos. But before we do that, I just want to talk. There's some really exciting things coming to the Discord. A couple tools that are really going to help the community pinpoint opportunities and get a little bit of an edge, which is absolutely fantastic. I'm super excited about that. So yeah, more to come. But I want to talk tonight about what I think is the best opportunity in Pokemon right now. And some people may say Paradox Rift, and they have a point to a certain extent. But I'm going to tell you that Stellar Crown, in my view, is the best value in Pokemon today. And before we get into the cards in the set, let's talk about a little bit of background for Stellar Crown. So, we had Temporal Forces came out, and it was just absolutely dead. And the print run really started to get tight a little bit before that. I think Paradox was dumped quite a bit, but Temporal was the first set where it was super tight. And again, nobody cared at release. And then you had Twilight Masquerade, which absolutely nobody cared at all at release. And then the Greninja took off, through a little bit of what I believe to be a coordinated buyout. And then we're kind of off to the races. And then obviously we saw Surging Sparks go absolutely bat shit crazy. But the forgotten set in all this is Stellar Crown. And yes, it's a smaller set. Yes, Terrapagos kind of is what it is. But, the set came. It was actually pretty successful at release. It outsold, the last couple sets by, 75 to almost 2x leading up to release. So there was a little bit of hype in the set. But then when Surging Sparks came out, you had Stellar Crown, which was sandwiched with two absolutely banger sets, right? We had Twilight, which was going absolutely crazy at that point in time, and the Greninja was 250. Not sure if it was pushing 3, but it was up there. And then you had Surging Sparks with the Pikachu that came out and, immediately had the PSA 10 sell for, $2,500, $3,000. And then, all of a sudden, Stellar Crown was just kind of sitting there without a whole lot of interest. It's kind of the forgotten set. And, people forget that the print window for Stellar Crown was similar to what it was for Twilight Masquerade and Temporal Forces. And Temporal and Twilight Masquerade, there's none of it out there. And we've seen a little bit of restock for Twilight, probably in, I believe it was October timeframe. Nothing for Temporal yet, although it is one of two sets available on Pokemon Center next to Stellar Crown. But it's interesting because, in my view, it's a really good set. You have the Squirtle and Bulbasaur IRs. They're going to carry the day. And, you look at, the Charmander promo card from Obsidian, and PCTB is absolutely insane. But you have the regular stamp promo, which is cool. But, the art, the art reminds me quite a bit of the Charizard in 151. So these cards are, obviously Gen 1. And they're just great, and they're cute cards, and they sell like crazy. So in all of this mess and all this hype, we have a set that's kind of orphaned here. Again, low print run, some cards that are quite good in a scenario where the booster boxes for this set are right around maybe a little bit less than Paradox Rift. Obviously a little bit above base set. But this is the least expensive box that's available right now. Now, it is still available on Pokemon Center. There's about 5,800 boxes, but that's 1,500 boxes have sold in the last, call it 3 weeks. So there's a point where these are going to sell out. And when these sell out, this is probably a $180 box. No different than what we've seen with Obsidian. What we've seen with some of the other sets. So, in my opinion, and I'm talking my own book here a little bit because I believe in this and I own a lot of Stellar Crown. This is the least likely set to get a reprint, in my view, in the Scarlet and Violet era, because now we're in the world of everything needs a reprint. except for Shroud of Fable and Stellar Crown, because you can still get Stellar Crown out there. At least that's the the popular opinion. But if we look at the booster boxes, there's 182 of them for sale. And if you look at the daily volume here, you just click on 1 month. There's 22. There's 22 being sold a day. So there's going to be boxes coming to market, but there's not nearly the inventory of this stuff that we've seen in the past. And 183 boxes is among the lowest of any boxes listed in any of the Scarlet Violet sets. And that includes, Paldea, Obsidian, etc. We click on cases. I mean, you only have 22 cases. I mean, this is 120 boxes. Now, this is absolutely nothing. There's nothing out there now. Not a whole lot has sold here, but again, with 20 some boxes selling a day, and call it 300 for round numbers, there's not a whole lot of inventory out there. So let's go to the singles. So the Trop Ghost was kind of the banger card when the set came out, and it's gonna do what it's gonna do. It's been a little bit of a slow bleed, but the card's sitting around near mint, $80, $90. It's gonna do what it's gonna do. But here come the two bangers. So let's start with the Bulbasaur, and the Bulbasaur right now in near mint English is $65. This was a $35 card forever, and as you can see here, we had the big dump. And then it's just slowly churned and churned and churned. And all of a sudden it went from 50 up to 60. Now it's going to push 70. And, you look at the volume. It's selling 18 copies a day. There's 79 out there. But you look at today, 54 of them sold. So you see these big spikes, 42 out here. You can see days where, I don't want to say they're buyouts or anything like that, but there's a lot of volume going on. And, Fridays tend to be the highest sales day for this stuff. So let's go to the Squirtle. And this is fascinating because in my view, the Squirtle is probably a $150 card, especially as he's age. So if you look at this, near mint hollow foil, $95. This card was $30 forever, then 40, then 50. And now all of a sudden, 81 of them sold today at an average of $77. So there's only 32 in the market. And if we go to near mint, and I just point this out because I think it's fascinating, because this card has been undervalued forever because it's been available. 77 bucks, 95, 95, and then you're at 100. You have 3 cards listed, or 3 listings. And here you have 3 under 100 bucks for a card that, you look at the history, very similar chart to what we've seen with the Bulbasaur. So these trends are going to continue, and as the booster boxes really start to dry up, and as the 5,800 boxes from Pokemon Center, remember, once we get down in the 4s, low 4s, high 3s, it's just a cascade effect where, it's like the cup spilling over, and, it's beyond the point of no return. We saw it with Vivid Voltage and some of the other sets where, it just sold out so fast. 1,500 boxes overnight, if you will. And then I don't believe there's a limit on how many you can buy, or maybe it's 25, something like that. So, you can buy a lot of these on Pokemon Center. So, 20 of these selling per day in the last month, and 81 of them today. So I would keep an eye on this card. I keep an eye on the set. If the Squirtle and the Bulbasaur are $100 cards, there's no reason why this box is in a $200 box after it goes out of stock at Pokemon Center, and people are going to start talking about it again. So, I think it's a super off the record, low key forgotten set. And quite honestly, it was printed at the perfect time, where everybody's attention is elsewhere. And now you see people going in and they're starting to buy the singles up. And the Squirtle and the Bulbasaur, I believe, Pika Pika Papa, whatever the YouTube channel is, he does a video on grading every so often, and I believe the Squirtle and the Bulbasaur were two of the top 3 graded cards in Pokemon in the month of December. So people are loving these cards, and it's only going to continue. So anyway, guys, if you're looking for something reasonable to buy, in the Pokemon world, Stellar Crown's where it's at. So, all right, guys. Like I said, a lot of awesome things gonna happen very shortly in the Discord. We just finished beta testing a couple things. So, subscribe to the channel. Announcements coming, and join the Discord. And have a good Friday.